Alright, what's going on everybody? Welcome back to another video here on the channel, and today we're going to be talking about the Epstein cover-up. Now, this is something that I made a video on about a week ago at this point, kind of when the initial story really started to break that the entire Epstein Files that we were supposed to be getting, we've heard so much about in the last few months, right? We've seen all the photo ops where influencers were holding up these files that supposedly contained details regarding the Epstein situation. Now, obviously, we all know what already happened there. I'm not really gonna spend the intro of this video breaking down like what these allegations and everything are. We already know about it, and I mean, if you're watching this video, you're aware. So we all realize that a massive cover-up is happening by the United States federal government. More specifically, the FBI is the one that's really covering this up. Now, like I said, a few months ago, back in February, right when the Trump administration retook control of the country, we had people like Kash Patel coming in, we had Pam Bondi, all these other people in the Trump administration that were coming in to direct the intelligence agencies and the different departments and everything going on. And Pam Bondi is a recurring figure in all of this because she's the attorney general. She is the one who specifically made the claim that the Epstein files were on her desk, ready to be reviewed, ready to be released. The FBI and all these other people were apparently working on getting the files ready for the public to see. We were finally gonna get the truth on this entire Epstein story. Now, obviously, we know that's not what happened. About a week ago, like I said, I made a video talking about how now the FBI, people like Kash Patel, Pam Bondi, all these people running these administrations who were supposed to be the ones releasing all this information, now they have suddenly turned their back on that. It is now, oh, the Epstein files never existed. The client list never existed. You guys are delusional. I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, the files I said that I had said I was going to be releasing, yeah, they never existed in the first place. Well, not only that, but it has gotten worse because from that point to now, like I said, they released the footage apparently of his cell or whatever. It has been found out in the last few days that this footage was likely edited with Adobe Premiere Pro. It is spliced between two different segments of footage. The file was saved 4 different times. This was all found in the metadata, by the way, in the actual file that they released. That's how intelligent the intelligence agencies are. They don't understand what metadata is in 2025. But all of this has been going on, and it's been a massive headache for the Trump administration because, remember, Trump won the election late 2024. He gets elected early 2025. He's inaugurated, second term starts, and right at the beginning of this term, we were told, and up until this, you know, in the campaigning and everything, we were told if he was elected, there was going to be this massive release on the 9/11 files, the JFK files, the Epstein files. We were going to let Americans finally know the truth about the past in their country. All these different massive conspiracies and mysteries, we're going to open up the Pandora's box of all this information. Well, now that is not happening. And of course, Trump is now dealing with the fallout of this situation because this is, make no mistake, a massive failure in the Trump administration. In fact, this is one of the most visible failures in the Trump administration up until this point. Not even just because obviously everybody is pretty angry over the results of what happened here, but because in specific, it is dividing the MAGA base pretty heavily. Like the Republicans and the people who voted for Trump, they are heavily split on this because obviously this was a campaign promise that never got fulfilled. So Trump decided to issue a response to everybody who is questioning what's going on, all of his supporters who are pretty angry regarding the cover-up and everything. And President Trump says, what's going on with my boys, and in some cases gals? They're all going after Attorney General Pam Bondi, who is doing a fantastic job. We're all on one team, MAGA, and I don't like what's happening. We have a perfect administration, the talk of the world, and selfish people are trying to hurt it all over a guy who never dies, Jeffrey Epstein. For years it's Epstein over and over again. Why are we giving publicity to files written by Obama, crooked Hillary, Comey, Brennan, and the losers and criminals of the Biden administration who conned the world with the Russia hoax? 51 intelligence agents, the laptop from hell, and more. They created the Epstein files just like they created the fake Hillary Clinton, Christopher Steele dossier that they used on me, and now my so-called friends are playing right into their hands. Why didn't these radical left lunatics release the Epstein files? If there was anything in there that could have hurt the MAGA movement, why didn't they use it? They haven't even given up on the John F. Kennedy Kennedy or Martin Luther King Jr. files. No matter how much success we've had securing the border, deporting criminals, fixing the economy, energy dominance, it's a safer world where Iran will not have nuclear weapons, it's never enough for some people. We're about to achieve more in 6 months than any other administration has achieved in over 100 years, and we have so much more to do. We are saving our country and making America great again, which will continue to be our complete priority. The left is imploding. Kash Patel and the FBI must be focused on investigating voter fraud, political corruption, Act Blue, the rigged and stolen election of 2020, and arresting thugs and criminals, instead of spending month after month looking at nothing but the same old radical left-inspired documents on Jeffrey Epstein. Let Pam Bondi do her job. She's great. The 2020 election was rigged and stolen, and they tried to do the same thing in 2024. That's what she's looking into as AG and much more. 1 year ago, the country was dead. Now it's the hottest country anywhere in the world. Let's keep it that way and not waste time and energy on Jeffrey Epstein, somebody that nobody cares about. Thank you for your attention on this matter. Well, in a rare moment, Trump was actually ratioed on this post on Truth Social. His own platform, by the way. He was ratioed because it turns out, unlike what President Trump says, when he says nobody cares about this, turns out a whole lot of people care about this. I mean, what a catastrophic misread here of the situation. I mean, you gotta think, this message isn't even being sent out to like liberals or whatever. He's sending this out as a plea to his own audience, to the MAGA, supporters and voters. He is calling for them to hear him out, basically. Oh, just trust that, everything's gonna be fine. We have the greatest country in the world. We're fixing everything. Don't waste your time worrying about people nobody cares about, like the pedophile cult ring leader who was flying out all of the actors and actresses and politicians in the country. All the people who have control over basically every element of society. Don't think about that, don't ever show any attention to that. I mean, why would you think people are not interested in this? I mean, if you didn't tell by now, the entire response to the cover-up has indicated just how much people care. I mean, it's become one of the largest news stories of the year since this all has started to kind of transpire in the last week or two, right? So yeah, I think people do care. And essentially the message here from President Trump is there's all these other things going on. Be distracted, listen to what we say, believe in what the government says, believe in the obvious psyop, the obvious gaslighting. I mean, how obvious could it fucking be? I mean, this is one of those situations where we quite literally watched the gaslighting and the psyop play out in real time. We had these people on the ropes just months ago. Oh yeah, we're gonna get the info out. The info people are gonna see is sickening. There's thousands upon thousands of pages of evidence. We're going through all of this. We're gonna make sure the American public knows. And then now they're trying to tell you, oh yeah, well that never existed. It actually never played out the way that you said that it played out. It never went the way you thought that it did. What are you, crazy? What are you, stupid? Come on, we're all on the same team here. We have a perfect administration. Don't you believe what I'm saying? Well, no, actually, President Trump, we don't believe what you're saying. In fact, we're not believing what any of these politicians are saying. And I think that's one of the key things here, because he says, if the left really wanted to, they could have completely destroyed MAGA. If they had anything that could have exposed me or anybody else, why didn't the lunatics on the left release this info? Because there's pedophiles on the left just as there's pedophiles on the right. People on the left were also on Epstein's flight logs, just like President Trump was. People on the left have friends, they have donors, they have buddies, they have business partners that were on these lists that were involved in this conspiracy. This is not one of those things where it's like one group of people, one political party were involved. I mean, Epstein had people across the board in the palm of his hand. You know what I mean? The entire upper, basically political class of America was played right into Epstein's hand the entire time. So it's not like, just Trump is on the list or something like that. There's a lot of people from a lot of backgrounds, a lot of, both political sides or whatever, that they really don't want people knowing we're involved in all of this shit. So to act as if this is some waste of time or energy or whatever is just asinine, especially considering this is something you ran on. The whole idea you call it the mandate of the American public, the vote or whatever, right? The idea of that was they wanted you to actually fulfill, like, yeah, he says he's gonna give us all of the information on Epstein. Maybe if you vote for him, maybe that's something you might want, right? Well, the majority of the country country voted for Trump. So if we're using that logic, wouldn't the majority of the country want for this information to be public? And this is honestly one of those political issues where it doesn't really matter which side of the political aisle people are on. This is one of those things most people actually agree on pretty well. We all know that people in all elements of American society up there in the elites were involved in this. But we all think that for the greater good of society, the people who committed these heinous acts should be publicly shamed. They should be publicly known. What is done in the dark should be brought to the light, right? That is one of the basic concepts of justice, which is supposed to be one of the cornerstone elements of this country on its founding principles. But as we see time and time again, the idea of justice, the idea that the right thing will be done, is only something that actually matters if there are people willing to actually enforce it and make sure that these things are actually capable of happening. Because when you have people like this, they're obviously above the law, they're running the country, they have the money, they have the support. You can basically avoid the consequences of things like this. And for the most part, everybody involved has. I mean, the people on the client lists and whatnot, which supposedly don't exist now, from the people who also sent you doctored, edited footage and promised you 3 months ago that this was all real, right? But it's incredible how obvious the redirection is here too. It's almost as if it's like a parent or something speaking to its toddler, or like trying to distract it, you know? Your kid like hurts itself and starts crying, and you start trying to distract it by like waving a toy in its face or something. Oh, look at the keys, look at the binky, ooh. That's basically what this is. It's, oh, you know, don't think about the Epstein files. Don't think about the fact that everybody in control of you and your life are committing some of the most vile, heinous crimes humanly possible. They're trafficking women, they're trafficking children, they're committing horrific sex crimes against them. Don't think about that. Just think about, well, I don't know, woke. Think about the economy. Think about gas. Think about Biden, though. It's like, even if you're a Trump supporter, right? Even if you're like supposedly in MAGA or whatever, you have to see what's happening here. This is an obvious cover-up. This is an obvious statement where this is essentially just copium. And honestly, like, what's with the intro too here? What's going on with my boys, and in some cases gals in quotations, right? It's just so fucking weird. Like, the entire thing, it's so obvious that this is just trying to drag people together for the sake of keeping them together. And let's be real, I mean, next year we're already back in the political cycle in America. The midterms are going to be here. And if you think that voters are just going to forget about shit like this time and time again, as that midterm continues to creep up closer and closer, you got another thing coming. And that's one thing Republicans need to realize. Like, they want to do all these things on their agenda. They have all these issues that they say, oh, even like Trump here, you know, you got to care about all these other things that are going on. Don't care about the pedophile sex ring running your entire worldview, right? It's as if they think that people are just going to keep on, oh, well, okay, okay, we're not getting it this time, all right. Oh, so the campaign promise isn't followed through? Okay. I mean, ultimately, does anything else really matter if everybody's faith in the government, everybody's faith in the idea of justice and a righteous society is constantly eroded away? If everybody is constantly being red-pilled and black-pilled into thinking that the world is fucking evil, the government is evil, people in power are evil, does that really bode well for society in the long run? Is that really just something we should all just ignore because, we gotta keep the unity, guys? Do we? I mean, do I want to be in unison with people who think that it's okay to cover this kind of shit up? Should anybody want to cover this shit up? Should anybody think that this is okay? I wouldn't say so. And even most of Trump's supporters in the comments on this post and on social media in reaction to this are saying this is a colossal mistake. And not only is it a mistake, it is almost like an intentional nose-up smear of the people who voted for him. It's like a 2 middle finger fuck you to everybody in the country who wanted answers resolving this entire problem, right? We wanted this to finally be something that wasn't in the shadows or wasn't a conspiracy anymore. Well, it appears, I guess we're done with it. I guess it never happened. I don't know. If that's what you want to believe, go ahead. Obviously, most people know this shit was covered up. We know this shit happened. We know these people are complicit in all of it, and I think history is going to write that. So with that being said, thank you guys for watching. If you did enjoy, make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're brand new around here on the channel, follow me over on Twitter and Twitch at @SubToOptimus. Make sure to check out Shoptimus down below. Thank you to my Watch Optimus subscribers. Your support helps the channel tremendously. And until my next video, guys, this is Optimus, well, reacting to the cover-up of the Epstein situation and signing out.